What's up, my friends? Y'all, it's a beautiful day. I wanted to bring the camera out here and share some things with you. I moved out here to the middle of these woods about 20 years ago, and it changed my life. It's been like a Walden experience, surrounded by nature, watching it do its thing. And the cool thing about nature is it always seems to have something to teach. One morning, not long after I moved out here, I woke up and looked out the window across the pond, and I see this flash of light over on the other side that caught my eye. I looked through the binoculars to see what it was, and there was an otter sitting right there on the edge of the pond. He was eating a fish, eating his breakfast. He had that fish holding up like this, and the sun was coming up over here, shining off the wet back of that fish and shooting toward me at the house. And otters are fun to watch, and they're playful, they're entertaining. And so I watched him do his thing, and he rolls that fish around, eats it all up. Rah, 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 rah. I'm sure he made that sound while he did it too. And he throws the waste over the side, he washes up there in the edge of the pond. Then he just dives out in the pond and starts playing, starts swimming. He does a little front stroke. He just rolls over, does a little back stroke. He dives under, comes up, rolls around some more. He's playing. I'm thinking, dude, this otter has got it made. This otter is living life, maybe as it was intended, in the garden, directly involved. He's got no job to worry about, no insurance, taxes to pay, nothing. Just living. It made me think of the Native Americans and how they were one of the last great cultures to have this really direct involvement in nature and their basic needs. They lived directly in it, relied on it for everything. I've always thought that would be a really cool way to experience life. Well, I got to think about that otter. Started thinking, what if that otter decided to be like the people, like the humans, and go get a job? And he hiked downstream to the river and got a job with the beavers cutting timber. And every week the beavers would pay him a wage, pay him some money, and he'd stop off at the grocery store on his way home. The grocery store run by the deer and the foxes, I guess. And he'd pick up some groceries, and then he'd go home and close the door to his little otter hut next to the pond and sit in front of the TV and eat fish from a can. Now, when I think about which one of those otters was living the best life, the most meaningful life, I think it's got to be the first one. And what it drives home for me is the same thing I've discovered out here, getting involved in some of my basic needs directly, getting my hands dirty in that work, is that dirty work is important. And I think that's what the Amish know. There's something important and meaningful in the dirty work. For me, it gives me a sense of ownership in life. It gives me a sense of, as though I'm more actively participating in my existence, in my survival, rather than just relying on the system or paying other people to do that dirty work for me, you know? The other thing it does is it gives me a deep sense of gratitude for how easy we have it. Because, man, that's just tough work. If you ever tried growing a garden, it's a lot of work to grow a little bit of food. And maybe you get a late freeze comes along, wipes out your whole progress, and you got to start over. And if you had to rely on that kind of stuff to survive, man, we'd be starving, I think. Taking the life of an animal, man, that's difficult work. I hate it. I hate pulling the trigger. Cutting firewood. It'd be much easier just to turn up the thermostat. But there's something important in it. And when I go to the grocery store now, I walk through the aisles and I'm in awe at the abundance and the variety of what's available to us, just trucked into us every day, that we don't even have to think about. It just shows up there and we can pick it off the shelves. We've got a lot to be thankful for, that's for sure. It's interesting to me how our human progress, our quest toward more comfort and convenience in life, has ended up pulling us away from nature. We've ended up we've walled ourselves off from nature in our climate-controlled, sanitized homes and offices. We don't live in nature anymore. We go visit nature. We're allergic to nature. I can't help but think that maybe that's harmful. I guess we all can't move out to the middle of the woods, but maybe it's a good start to try to find some ways to get back in touch with nature. Maybe get back in touch with your basic needs. I can't guarantee you anything other than it's been meaningful for me. So if you got some creative ideas out there, there's all kinds of ideas and solutions for people raising chickens and growing indoor gardens and urban gardens. And if you got something that worked for you, leave a comment out there, share it. I think that's all I got. Y'all let me know what you think. Good luck. Peace.